Kids, you're looking fantastic this Sunday. And I want to say aloha. Coog just jumped up just before I pushed the button, so maybe he just wants to be, I don't know. He's kind of a jumper too sometimes. But he's the one that I train not to spray. And I said how he hasn't done it in 2 years, but I think he did something outside. And you know what it is? That's right. It's hard to break habits sometimes. And that's what it is, kids. Sometimes habits are hard to break. Animals, you got to work with them more, that's all. Just like I was saying in the past how we all have an animal within us. And that's that lower little beastie that we have to whip sometimes with a bull whip to a chair or whatever it takes for that little animal to be in control. We all have this lower self, our conscious self, and our higher self. And as it's been said, we're not quite in alignment yet. We're kind of tied up in knots, like the Kahuna said back in that episode. We all have to untie our knots, and that lower little beastie that we let get away with so much every day. Uh, it's hard sometimes to break these habits, kids, and sometimes it's a habit to be angry, which actually brings back to the understand. There's five five poisons that we have to get rid of in our body, in our system, in our well, we have different bodies, of course. We have our physical body, we have our emotional body, we have our mental body, and we have a spiritual body. And all of these bodies are in, well, from our physical body, this is the most dense, the densest, um, the lowest vibration. Then we go to the higher vibrations. I'll bring that up someday. Not right now, because I have a thumbnail for us. It's going to be meditation. So I've been promising you meditation. As with everything on this planet, there's a positive and a negative. Just like the last episode, I had I had some people that gave Uncle Martin a thumbs down, which is absolutely your prerogative. And then I had some people that gave me a thumbs up just on this last episode. So I must have been hitting some. So I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings on this last episode with me going up to with the shaman coming back, having his Chila doing stuff with them, and he wanted the Chila's girlfriend and me went up to this cave for. Well, we thought it was going to be a 7-day fast, but I'm not going to go there because I'm not going to rehash. But I had to recant. I'm not recanting anything. I just went back yesterday to see why I would have Uncle Martin get some thumbs down. Why would that happen? I don't know. So I was thinking maybe was it the circle of white light that upset somebody? Was it the little imp, which I'm going to have a whole episode on? I had to Google what's an imp. It could be negative. It's either a devil, a demon, or a mischievous child. And that's what I was saying. That's all this little imp was, is a mischievous child. And I'll have an episode on this little, I'm going to just keep him as an imp because I can't put his name out there because he was living at the hot springs in the hotel with his two sisters. And his father is or was, I don't know, a producer in Hollywood. So he gave his kids to the people at the hotel. So That's all I'm going to say about that. But he is definitely he was he was 11 years old. He was a mischievous little child. That's what I'm saying. He was just a little imp, and I got a whole episode on him. So put that on the back shelf. So was the thumbs down coming down because I said the little imp said the you know the guy with the black robe with the scythe that the little imp said the devil's there's a competition with the devil and God, and who's going to get the most souls because these are the end times. And he was really happy with glee when he was saying that. And I said, well, I don't know. And immediately I thought of my dream that I spoke of when I was in the white robe, but the hood wasn't on. And I had a scythe also looking at a bunch of wheat in front of me with a small little wall to the left. So I'm just saying, did that hurt somebody's feelings? Or was it when I said the healer of the gang that was coming out and he wasn't doing much healing? Did that hurt somebody's feelings? Was it the staph infection? Was that what? I'm just saying, whatever it was, guys, whoever put the thumbs down, I hope I didn't hurt your feelings. That's all. In this world, kids, in this world, you're going to hurt people's feelings. And all you can say is, you're sorry. And I am sorry from my heart if I hurt anybody's feelings. I gave Uncle Martin the thumbs down. That's all. And again, kids, in this world, you're not going to please everybody. That's the way it works, And that's all I'll say about that at this time. So the meditation, perfect. That will be the thumbnail for this Sunday. Meditation, how it can be positive or it can be negative. And that's what Uncle Martin's trying to say. I had a situation where I didn't even know about meditation until I had to text my buddy Nicky up in Hillsboro. Bless his soul, he got back to me because I asked if the teacher was, because we had her, I didn't know if it was 6th grade or 7th grade. See, 6th grade was episode 8, where I was in 6th grade, and the 9th grader, the mustache face, which we call now the cherub face. I didn't realize that if it was during that 6th grade that I was dealing with cherub face, a 9th grader. 6th grader gets a 9th grader? How could you get out? Well, you'll have to go to episode 8 on that. I'm not going to rehash that. But it wasn't the 6th grade, it was the 7th grade that the teacher comes into the room that I remember well because she pointed right at me and she said, "You're lazy." I mean, out of everybody in the room, she points at me. And I said, "I'm not lazy. I chop down dead elm trees. I am not lazy. In fact, before I can do my homework, I gotta get a wheelbarrow of wood." And she kept going, how lazy I was. And then finally I got really, she could see that I was, by the way, she was a witch or she was psychic. She could have been both. And as we know, in episode 44, when I talked about all that stuff, it's either you can be positive or negative on any of these things. It's when you qualify or misqualify your energies that you can go to either side, by the way. And by the way, misqualifying your energy is negative. Qualifying your energy is positive. For anybody that is on either side that doesn't recognize what that means, I'm just putting it out there for you. So she comes in a room, starts pointing her finger at me and saying all these things like I'm lazy. And then finally, everybody's laughing at this. They think it's a big hoopla funny. And then she could see that I was getting really angry. Which is one of the 5 poisons, by the way. Anger and hatred. That's one of the five poisons. I don't want to go into all of them right now because I'm going to stay with the thumbnail meditation. So she finally says, "No, you're lazy because you're smiling. It takes more It takes more muscles in your face to frown. Takes a lot of muscles. Smiley, that means you're lazy. Everybody laughed and everything, so we knew what she was talking about. And by the way, that is true. Whoever wanted to go on the internet, they're going to say, not that. It is that. You are less muscles to smile than it is to frown. Just keep that in mind. No matter what you come up with on the internet. I Googled that. I'm not going into that. So we got this lady, beautiful lady. That's what I was going to say. Nikki gets back to me immediately. Says, no, that was her. That was, she was like the body type of Jeannie. Bing, bing. Longer blonde hair. Definitely a braided Viking chick. She comes in our room and we were all in love with this lady. But she was definitely, well, she was psychic. She was definitely telling everyone what color they were and all that. She said I had a lot of purple and that I definitely was green, a green ray. Green was my color. And then finally I found out later, yeah, she was pretty much on that one. But she gave us this test on meditation is what I'm saying. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you kids. Meditation is very important that we do this, to meditate, because it does bring down our, it can bring down our heartbeat. It can bring down when you have high blood pressure, all these things. And when you have, well, if you have anger and hatred, definitely, if you meditate, it'll bring these things down. She gave us this test of, she didn't say to do one or the other, by the way. She just came out and said, we're going to do a meditation today. And this is what the meditation is. You can have a black piece of paper, or you can have a white piece of paper. And I want you to close your eyes and think of either a white piece of paper or a black piece of paper. Excuse me. So Uncle Martin said, yeah, well, okay. And that's what I was asking Nikki. When I texted him, I said, hey, Nick, you remember that meditation we had with Mrs. Do you remember? And he was saying that was 7th grade, not 6th grade, was what my point was. That I thought she was in the 6th grade with us, but it wasn't. It was the 7th grade. 7th grade. Oh, that's very spiritual, isn't it? So here in 7th grade, I'm getting my first meditation that I'm choosing the black piece of paper. So we're closing our eyes, and she just said, you know, think whatever color you want, black or white. And I picked the black. And yeah, I thought nothing of it. Okay. And then it's what happened afterwards is what I'm pointing out, as that a couple things happened that now see, I was an altar boy, all right? That's very positive, or it could be, just like priests can be positive or priests can be negative. Doesn't matter what you're dressed as, kids. A nun could be positive, a nun could be negative. A plumber could be positive, a plumber could be negative. A police officer could be positive, he could be negative. Anybody on this planet, terrific or terrible, can be either positive or negative. That's all I'm saying. Don't get one sect of any food group, any group of individual, whether it be a culture, a nation, or whatever, and say that they're totally negative, or say they're all positive, because they're going to be a mixture on both. It's going to be up to the individual whether they want to be positive or negative, is all I'm saying. And that's what it comes down to, kids. We always have that choice within us to choose. It has been said that the enemy within, when we get rid of the enemy within, then there is no enemy outside of us that can hurt us. It's that enemy within us that will get us every time. And we'll have, it's sort of like the fear thing. when when we get rid of the fear that's within us, there is no fear outside of us that can ever get us. And that is a fact, and that's true. Now the meditation part, Uncle Martin took the black piece of paper. Why? I don't know. I just went that way. So what happened was two things that I can probably tell you. There's probably a few things, but the two things that stood out for me the most was, well, the I'm only going to tell you one of them. It's just, I might bring the other ones in later, but I'm just going to give you the one. I was walking down in Millstone, New Jersey. I was walking with this girl. Her name was Susie. And Susie did this. She said, she didn't say she loved me or anything, but I guess it was that, now that I think about it. She says, I have something that I cherish. I cherish this more. I cherish this more than anything in the world. And she I don't know, she pulled out of her pocket this little pug dog, porcelain pug dog. I think you guys know what a porcelain pug dog looks like. They've made thousands of them. It's like a pug dog. It's either a pug dog or bulldog, but it's a cute little porcelain dog. And she says, this is from my heart that I love so much. I give it to you. And I took it. I looked at it. I said, and I took it. And I smashed it right on the road there, going to the park we were going over by the monkey on trees. And I made her cry, obviously, and she ran off. And then I thought about it, and I didn't think much of it. That was just me. But you see, what happened was, kids, when you open yourselves up to, I'll call them the negative helpers versus the positive helpers, which we have all around us. We have both positive helpers and negative helpers. And I don't know if they're really helping you more than just themselves, but I did that because, well, we lived in a haunted house, okay? I didn't know it was haunted until Mom sort of said, well, they were sleeping in bed, Mom and Dad. Dad was oblivious he was sleeping, but she said on the third time when the covers were getting taken off the bed, she just sat up and said, get out of here. And then whatever it was left the room, apparently, and didn't pull the covers down anymore. Now, I thought about that later, until years later, that house may have been occupied by a negative energy, let's say, which does occur sometimes, kids. There are negative places on this planet and positive places, which I can't go into right now. But this house that we were in may have had that energy to it. The situation was, we can bring on things within ourselves that are not positive, that they may be more negative. And that's what I believe I did in that meditation. It didn't hit me until years later that that's actually what I did. I welcomed into my meditation a negative situation of an energy that was not positive. Because normally, me being an altar boy and everything, I knew the positive and negative things to do. And that would have been the most negative thing to do, is to take something from someone's loving heart and just smash it right in front of them on a road. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Well, obviously, as I was saying in the past, guys have less love in their heart than women. That's all there is to it. It takes a little longer for the guys to have more love in their heart, which we all have to do, by the way. On this planetary system, we must have more love in our heart. And we have to kindle that fire and feed that fire consciously. We'll leave that alone for the moment. We're staying with meditation. We go, I was 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. 10th grade now, I'm in 10th grade. We get into the Edgar Cayce understanding of things that you have to, if you're going to meditate, you want to have a circle of white light around you, and you can think of fire, light, you can think of a spotlight that's coming down on you, all around you. A good 6-9 feet around is perfect distance with your ring of white fire. And this is what you want to have, kids, when you meditate, is all Uncle Martin's saying. When you have this, it's protection. White light around you will be your protection. You'll have to have no fear when you can meditate. You can meditate with no fear, with that white light around you. This is what I'm telling you. Now, I understood this at 15. When I got to 18, on the railroad, when I got into the second spiritual teacher, he put it to me this way. Perfect. He says, this is what's going to happen. Because he told us about meditation, and I'll get into that someday, someday, maybe. But just put it on the back shelf. This is all, we're going to talk about the meditation part right now. He said, you got to have the circle of white light around you. You have the fire of that white light around you when you meditate. And he's going to say, you're going to go places. You're going to go places and be places where people are going to probably have the lights out, a candle going, incense going, and everybody's going to sit around and meditate. He's going to say, this is what's going to happen, he's going to say. He says, before the lights go out, there's going to be people all around you. They're going to want to know who you are, where are you going, where are you from, what do you know, how do you say, what do you do? They're going to know all these things, and you're going to be talking to them and blah, blah, blah. Now, the meditation time comes, the lights go out, the candle's lit, the incense is going, and everybody's meditating. He's going to say, when the lights go back on, you're going to find the people that are maybe questioning you and all. A lot of those people will be on the other side of the room. They will not be so close to you. Then there's going to be other people that will be close to you. But a lot of the people that you're going to see that were all questioning you are going to be on the other side of the room. And that's all he said. When we meditate and have our white light around us, there is no negativity that can come in, is what I'm saying. When you meditate and you don't have your ring of white light, ring of fire around you, you're going to have other things that come in. That's all. That's all I'm saying right now. There's people that can understand what I'm talking about, read between the lines. There is both positive and negative on this planet. When are you going to start challenging that negativity? We do it every day on some level, but you're not going to be very proficient at it if you don't get rid of that negativity within yourself. That negativity, it's like you want to go help someone. But how can you help someone if you're not getting the proper sleep, if you're not having on the proper diet, and you're bringing your resistance down because you're running around helping people, but are you really? You may be helping them, but you're bringing you're not doing as well as you could if you take care of your own body first. And that's the way it works spiritually also. You're not going to go out and help a bunch of people if you've got all this baggage inside yourself. Like, I might as well just go into it, the five deadly poisons. I thought it was Gautama Buddha or Lord Maitreya, but as I think about it, I think it was the 5 Dhyana Buddhas. It's thousands of years ago in India they were around. I'll bring them out someday, maybe. Just put it on the back shelf. But these 5 Dhyana Buddhas said that there's 5 poisons. Isn't that interesting? So ignorance is one of them. Anger and hatred. We've got spiritual, intellectual, human pride, which that means that you feel that you're better than someone else. There's the passions of all the cravings you can think of, the greed and lust, which we got a lot here on the planet Earth. Envy and jealousy. So these are the 5 that you have to deal with someday or not in your lifetime. That is within all of us to some extent. I know some people are saying, I don't got any of those things. Well, then you are ready to graduate Earth. We all have a little bit of this or a lot of it. And what Uncle Martin's saying is we have to consciously see that we do have it. And then once we can see that we have it, then we have to kind of think, well, do we want it? It's up to us. It's our free choice if we want to keep feeding these kind of desires or not, or get rid of them. Just get rid of them. And when we get rid of these poisons, we're no longer poisoning ourselves and the people around us, because all of these things poison not only ourselves, but everyone else. And not only that, when we're doing this poisoning to other people, that comes back to us tenfold. That karma keeps coming in. What we give out, we get back tenfold. So once we understand that, it's so much easier for us to get up the ladder rather than staying where we're at. It's been said in the past that we have to the spiritual, intellectual, human pride is very, very difficult to get rid of, because when we get spiritually evolved, we can always look at people and say, look at that person, look at that slob, blah, blah, blah. And what happens is, well, you're judging someone, first of all. And as I said in the past, I believe it was episode 29, that bum that you say is a bum, that's in the garbage dumpster diving, eating that cannoli, eating that half hot dog, that you're calling such a lowly life, is actually, once he realizes that cannoli and half-eaten hot dog is no longer necessary, that's all he needed to go zippity-doo-dah, leagues past you. When we're brought up to understand that we are lowly, no good sinners, all right, that kind of thing, that we're not worthy, that we're whatever negative thing you want to say is, we are worthy. We are worthy through our free choice to decide whether or not we want to keep these lesser things or get rid of them. And there's people all around us through the ages that have told us that, it's better to have love, understanding, kindness. And these are the things that we learned in kindergarten, as I said in episode 32. Why kindergarten? Well, these are the important things that we forgot about, that these are necessary for us to grow or stagnate. We always have that choice. And it's not going to be anybody that's going to help you do these things, kids. There's nobody's out there that's going to, we can see that these are necessary, but it's going to be right up to you and everyone that's listening to Uncle Martin at this time, that through our thought, we're going to grab those 5 poisons when they come up. We're going to grab them and we're going to say, I got you now, buddy boy. I got you. And you're not going to go any further with my energy. And you just throw them into your heart flame, that burning heart flame that you have so much love. Hopefully you have love. And it's going to just consume it. You're sort of like putting it up on, let's say, your own little tabernacle. We all have a tabernacle within us. And this has a flame that comes out. And some of us have a real bright flame. Some of us have a very little flame. And those people that have the little flame are probably the ones that have the work to do and to learn that anger and hatred, you got to get rid of it. We have more heart failure going on this planet right now than we've had in a long time. Even ask doctors. the heart attacks and everything else, is that's basically because we anger and hatred. That's going to be right there. It's the adrenaline that we have when we give out anger and hatred. The adrenaline flow that goes out. It's a poison. We're poisoning our body. These guys thousands of years ago knew about this stuff. Even doctors will tell you right now that fear, that adrenaline of fear going through you, you're ripping your whole body apart. You're aging yourself much faster than you could if you got rid of those fears. I've been bringing that up ever since episode 1, for crying out loud. These fears that we have are within us that we have to eliminate, and that way all the fears that are around us will not affect us. Once we get rid of our own fears. No one can do this, kids, except you, through your own mind. That 1/1,000,000th of a spark of electricity that you're making each thought, it's going to be either a positive or negative thought. Or it could be a projection that's put upon you. But it's still up to you whether or not you're going to feed that or not. It's always up to us. And no one can do it for you. No one out here on this planet, can ever do it for you. We must do it ourselves as an individual. We come in breathing our air individually. We all come in and we all go out. Everyone here that comes in gets to go out. What did we get while we were here? We are grabbing things every which way, but do we get to take any of those? As I said in that naked versus naked, unless somebody comes in with some nanotechnology that you're coming in with a 3-piece suit, you're still going to go out with that 3-piece suit, all right? So it doesn't matter. We're not taking anything with us here. But yet we still have people all around us that are grabby, grabby, grabby. We're all grabby. We've been grabby since we were little babies sucking on that bottle. But, and a lot of us just still want to keep grabbing. We want to grab more homes. We want to grab more land. We want to grab this. We want to grab that. Got to grab money. Got to have women. Got to have this. Got to have that. All these things that we're grabbing from the outside, we'll never take with us when we leave. So, if that is, and I think we all know that, but for some reason, we got a lot of grabbers out there that just have more things to learn. That's all. Okay, so we got the meditation down. When you're going to meditate, you have your white circle of white light around you with that fire ablazing. And you're not going to have anything bothering you when you're meditating. And I'll get into certain thought forms on meditation, how it can heal you, how it can heal your body and help heal other people's bodies. That'll be on another topic on how to do that if anybody's interested. I don't know if it's going to be too much meat, but we're getting into the meat now. A lot of the milk. Getting rid of that milk. I know you're screaming you want meat. I want meat. I'll give you some meat. Well, I'll give you some meat. Don't worry. But this is the episode that we had on meditation. If you are going to meditate, you want your circle of white light around you. And I might as well throw in there also, Archangel Michael, come forth. You say that. And Archangel Michael's right there behind you with his sword, his blue and white sword. And that's really tough to fight when you got when you got Archangel Michael around you. That's when all the negative things seem to go away. So I would say keep your guardian angel, Archangel Michael, and then do your ring of fire when you meditate. And then from there, it'll be between you and the inner self of you connecting to your higher self that all things will happen. And we'll get into that at another time. But right now, I think we have a foundation to work on. If you're going to meditate, well, if you're going to go for the black piece of paper, make sure you have a ring of white fire around you. That's all. That's all I'm going to say at this time. And you'll find it's going to be much more positive for you than negative. So this is a short one this time, kids. So until I see you next Sunday, I can feel that you're doing your push-ups. And I'm just going to throw something real fast in there. I was at work the other day, and I was watching these guys, all a little less experienced than myself, and one of them was on doing push-ups, you know, and then I said, "You're doing them wrong. You're doing them wrong. You're way up high, and not only that, you're on a curb, and you're supposed to have your hands straight down, or this way, or that way, like I said before, but they were doing them this way, military." And I said, "That's not the right way to do it." And they said, "Oh, really, Uncle Martin?" Because they call me Uncle Martin at work. "Yeah, Uncle Martin, you think you could do a push?" I said, "I haven't done push-ups in like 20, 30 years, man. But I do climb a rope." "You climb a rope?" "Yeah, I last few years I've been climbing a rope." And they said, "Well, yeah, let's see what you can do." So I said, "Yeah, I haven't done it in a long time." So I said, "But this is the right way to do it." So I put my hands like military. I looked straight ahead, kept my butt down, not up in the air, straight. And and by the way, when I was doing, like, I got up to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm saying, yeah, I feel pretty positive on this. And they're saying, "He's doing 5, do 10." And I said, "Well, okay." So I did 10. And they said, "You can stop at 10. I said, "Nah, I prefer to stop at 11. So I stopped at 11 because, as we know, master numbers, 11 can be. And I'll bring up numbers on numerology. That'll be another episode. So I did 11. I stopped at 11. And you know what, kids? I felt that I could do more. But I didn't. I just stopped at 11. So I'm saying, even with the experience Uncle Martin has right now, this last Friday I did 11 push-ups. All right? And I think all you kids should be at least up to 11 now if you've been watching since episode 1, and how important that is to do that. So I'm really happy to hear and feel that you kids are doing your push-ups, because it's very important. You can do this arm wrestling, because you're not going to break rule number 1. You're not going to start a fight. You're not going to run from a fight, but you will arm wrestle first. Okay. Until I see you next Sunday, everybody, I can feel you're well, too. You're stronger and you're well. And you've had mighty victory with you all week. So let's keep that going. Mighty victory the rest of this week. And be well. Aloha. Until next Sunday.